religion forbids me. I have no right to do that. I have no right. I have to speak the truth. I said, who are you? I said, look, I'm an ordinary Muslim. What makes you to come and speak like this? He said, look, I've been talking, and I've talked myself into this. See? That's all. I've become a talker by talking. No other credit. I don't hear voices. By God, I don't hear any voices. I don't hear God coming and telling me like some of these guys are claiming. So God comes to me and tells me, says, son, again and again, son, tera beta. My son, is that how God talks to you? I said, what language does he speak to you? I haven't had the chance of asking, what language? He says, son. He didn't call his own son Jesus. Son, he speaks in the third person. At the baptism, if you remember, in the scriptures. So when he was baptized by John the Baptist in the river Jordan, a voice was heard from heaven saying, this is my son in whom I'm well pleased. He's not talking to Jesus, that you are my son and I'm well pleased with you. No. He's telling the other people that this is my son in whom I'm well pleased. He never spoke to Jesus' son, but now to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, God is now direct communication. He says, son, so what about this? I have a problem, Daddy. But he said, look, I cannot tell you. No, in the writings, I cannot tell you. Why can't he tell you? Doesn't he know the answer? This God of yours? Or is it that you are inept? Something wrong with you? Why doesn't he tell you? He said, I cannot tell you. What do you mean he cannot tell you? No, that is the relationship. They have established a relationship with God. He says, no. So, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, ascension thrown out. But now they put it back. So you read the preface. In the preface they tell us that individuals and 2 church denominations out of the 50, individuals, Bible thumpers, hot gospelers, preachers, evangelists, they, individuals and 2 church denominations, they protested that this thing should be put back. Otherwise, we will tell the people, don't buy this RSV. It is too dangerous. These scholars have done damage to our cause, our faith, our belief. So, therefore, says the revisers in the preface, they say that these, the longer ending of Mark 9 to 20 and Luke chapter 24 verse 51 are now restored to the text. Why? Not because God told them so. This is my book. You have no right to expunge anything from my book. You have done it, put it back. Otherwise I'll put you into hell. And hell is no joke, says Brother Jimmy Swaggart. No joke. And it is no joke. Gains, for money's sake. In the meantime, these revisers, they made a net profit of $15 million on the RSV. $15 million. Before they got caught out by these preachers. Before they could stampede them to restore. $15 million. Big business. The world's bestseller. Of course it is the world's bestseller. The Bible. Good money, big money. So these are the pictures of Jesus. The Christian belief is that is God Almighty in human form. He is God incarnate. The Muslim says no, God does not incarnate. He doesn't say no, Jesus is not God incarnate, but Muhammad is. Jesus is not the begotten Son of God, but Muhammad is. That Jesus didn't die for people's sins, but Muhammad died. Nothing of the kind. This is a Hindu idea, that God becoming a man. My ancestors, I'm an Indian. Not a red Indian, brown Indian from India. Otherwise we might put you into the reserves. They said, look, we got a reservation for you. So I don't want any reservation. I come from the east, really east. My ancestors were Hindus. I'm a new Muslim from the point of view that 200 to 400 years ago, my ancestors became Muslim. But before becoming Muslims, we were worshipping Rama as the 7th incarnation of God. We worshipped Krishna as the 8th incarnation of God. We worshipped Buddha as the 9th incarnation of God. And we believed in endless incarnations. Because my ancestors, very clever people, they reasoned. And the reasoning was very good. They said that God Almighty, He's so pure, He's so holy, He's absolute holiness, like a holy robo. What does the holy robo know how I feel when I see a beautiful young thing, even at the age of 69? What does he know how I feel? Does he feel the way I feel? Probably not. Then what right has he to tell me, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife? What does he know what is to covet? So to be qualified, said my ancestors, that God Almighty comes down to earth, to experience this life, to know what he's talking about. His Holiness the Pope. You know, His Holiness the Pope made his pronouncement on the pill, birth control. You know that they are not to use pills, birth control, but you must use the natural cycle, you know, fertile period, infertile period. That is valid, not the pill. So when he made that pronouncement, some cynic remarked that the guy who doesn't play the game, what right has he to lay down the rules? Does the Pope play the games we play? Does he? Does he? No. So what right has he to tell us about fertile and infertile period? What does he know how I feel when my need arises? Similarly, my Hindu ancestors reasoned. They said, look, God Almighty, you know, to be qualified, he must come down to earth. And the same God keeps on coming into the world. Again and again, it's the same God, there's only one God. Rama is that God. The same God came as Krishna, the same came as Buddha, the same came as Kalanka Avatar, the same came as Mahatma Gandhi, and on and on. They are prepared to believe in endless incarnations. No, the logic is good. The Christian, he will reject this idea. He says, before Jesus, God did not incarnate. After Jesus, he will not incarnate. He is the only incarnation. Only time that God came into the world, he came as Jesus Christ. Not before, not after. The Muslim says that God does not incarnate at all. He doesn't become man. What he does is, he chooses a man from among men, one of us, flesh and blood in all respects. But that person is so finely attuned, is so sincere to God, that whatever God commands him on a higher spiritual level, what we call revelation, they are like the electromagnetic waves of the spiritual world. God Almighty communicates with them on that level, and they in turn reproduce those messages on our level, sound wave, 600 miles an hour. We call such people prophets of God. They are the mouthpiece of God. They are speaking the words of God, but they are not gods. Similarly, we say that is Jesus, Moses, David, Solomon, Muhammad. They are all the mouthpieces of God. As such, we say love them, respect them, revere them, follow them, but worship none of them. Worship the one and only God that there is, the Father in heaven. He is the only God. Call him Allah, call him Jehovah, call him what you like, as long as the term that you use is not contaminated. That's all. Use any name for him, says the Quran. Call him Rahman, call him Rahim, call him by any name. But we say, as long as that name is not contaminated. For example, if I were to tell you, my brothers and sisters, that the name of God Almighty in Islam is Muhammad. As soon as I say Muhammad, you're thinking of an Arab, a camel driver. No? Yes. If I say the name of God Almighty is Krishna, you think of an Aryan in India, a Hindu. As soon as you say his name is Jesus Christ, you think of a Jew born in the stable to a Jewish girl called Mary, circumcised on the 8th day. That's a picture. So any name that conjures up a mental picture of the divinity, God Almighty, is taboo. Don't use such words for God, but call him by any name as long as the name is not contaminated. And that name is not Jesus. It's not Muhammad. It's not Rama. It's not Krishna. Call him Allah, call him Jehovah, call him whatever else you will. But don't use these terms for God. So this is the point of real difference between the Muslim and the Christian. The Christian says he's God. He's either a liar, a lunatic, or Lord. I say he's neither a liar, nor a lunatic, nor the Lord. He is what he claimed. He claimed to be the Messiah. He claimed to guide you people, to guide us, to guide his people from formalism, from ceremonialism into righteousness. The whole truth. He came to give them the truth. He showed them the truth. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. That is for his people. If you want another way, God will not accept it. In the time of Moses, the Jews chose another way, through the golden calf. As a result of that, God said, kill the people. The Jews, the Bani Israel, they were told, kill one another. And they killed 24,000 Jews for worshipping the golden calf. He said, I don't want it. They didn't say the calf is God. They said, we want to worship God through it. He said, I don't want it. I want you to come to me direct. He said, I am your Lord, I am a jealous God. I shall have no other gods before me, not even of the likeness of the things on earth, or in the heavens above, or in the waters beneath the sea. For my name is jealous, and I am a jealous God. I want nothing. He said, no, I want it this way. He said, I don't want it. I was listening to a program. I will end with this. I know I have taken so much of your time, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask, so I will give you that opportunity. But I end with this example, a living example from America. I was in my hotel room. I can't remember the town because every night they're taking to a new town and a new bed, and I just can't seem to remember. Baton Rouge I remember, and then yes, Tucson I remember, but I don't know where. I put on the TV set in my bedroom in the hotel, and I see Brother Jimmy Swaggart. He's preaching about Babylon. Beautifully done, very well. He's got a small team of experts around him. His wife, Frances, is also there because something happened and he asked something and she responded. So when I saw her, this is on TV. Towards the end of this program, just a couple of days back, one of the experts on the panel of that program, he says, I've been to Mongolia. Mongolia, around Tibet, that side, Mongolia. And there I visited a Buddhist temple. And I saw the prayer wheel, the wheel, on which, they offer the prayers. So people come along with the request, with the prayers written on it. What do they want? I want to get married. I can't get a wife. He said, look, I'm asking Buddha to provide me with a wife. He said, look, I'm in difficulties. I want some money. So I want $5,000, to build a new house. So I make a request. I put it on. And when the wheel is turned, they believe that the prayer is being transmitted. See, this is very, very scientific. Look, you transmit messages by pressing buttons, and they do by turning of the wheel. So they're asking him, he says, what are you doing this, turning the wheel? He said, no, we are sending out messages to Buddha to hear our prayer. So Jimmy Swaggart's panel expert, he's telling the guide, he says, but he said, I have read a lot of books on Buddhism, and Buddha never claimed anywhere he's God. He thought he stumped the man. Nowhere does Buddha say, I'm God. In none of these books that he ever made such a claim, that he is God. He said, yes, but he said, we make him God. We make him God. He didn't say he's God, but we make him God. I said, right. What a message by God, what a message. Jesus didn't say, I'm God. He didn't say, worship me. Nowhere. He says, come, I'll teach you how to pray. Pray like this. Oh, our Father, which art in heaven, yours and mine, including Judas, the traitor, he's the father of everybody. Oh, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Where does it say the Father of Jesus Christ in heaven? Where does it say, I'm God? Where does it say, I'm equal to God? On the contrary, he says, my Father is greater than I. My Father is greater than all. He said, I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge. And my judgment is righteous, because I seek not my own will, but the will of him that sent me. He said, the word ye hear are not mine, but the